Android provides a few built-in transitions that are suitable for most use cases. The best way to learn about them is to give them a try, and if that doesn't behave as expected, read the documentation and try again. If you can't find the one that matches exactly what you have in mind, you can create custom transitions where you can determine precisely what animators to use. We'll take a deep dive into them in this video. When extending the transition class, we will override three key methods. In capture start values and capture end values, we pick a set of view properties that are needed for the animation. We create an animator based on the captured start and end values. Let's take a look at a concrete example. Remember the animation we made in the property animation video? Let's recreate it using transitions. We can start by getting rid of all this beautiful animation code we wrote in our animate method. So I'm going to select everything and delete the whole method, including that pesky curly brace. Now, if you want, you can just comment out that code if you want to keep it for reference. But it's also available in the project files, either in the links here or on GitHub. Now, instead, let's add a new method to create our new custom transition. Private void create transition. First, we can add a new transition set. Transition set, let's call this set equal to a new transition set. We're going to play these in order, just like we did for the animation. So say set.setOrdering, and we can use the constant transition set.ordering sequential. Oh, I just noticed that we're still calling animate here in our on-album art click, so let's delete that. Okay, back up and create transition. Let's add a new line and say transition, and this will be the one for the fab button. So let's call this tFab. And here we're going to use a new custom transition class called scale, which is in our project. So type new scale, and then accept it with a quick fix if you need to, Alt+Enter. Now we'll get back to that class, but for now, let's keep going. Let's add for our transition tFab.setDuration, and we can pass in 150, which is the value we used before. And now we need to add this to the fab as a target. So .add target, and we'll use the variable fab. Next, we want a transition for the title panel. So we'll create a new one, transition. Let's call this tTitle equals a new. And now this time we're going to use a custom transition called fold. Once again, we'll look at these new classes in a moment. Let's set the duration here, tTitle.setDuration, and this one we had also at 150. And we'll add a target for this as well, add target, and this is called title panel. Finally, we'll do the same thing for the track panel. Transition tTrack equals a new fold. tTrack.setDuration, we'll set it to 150, and tTrack.addTarget, and this one's called track panel. Okay, so we have three transitions created. Now we just need to add them to our set that we created up above. So set.addTransition, and remember we want to do this in the specific order that we want them to run because we're running them sequentially. The first one is for the title panel, tTitle. Then the second one, and transition, is going to be for the track, tTrack. And the third will be for the fab, add transition tFab. So finally, we just need to return the set that we've created, return set. Oh, that's right, I accidentally created this as a void. We want this to return a transition because it's creating a new transition. Okay, to use this new transition, let's go back to on-album art click, and we can call create transition. We'll create a new transition called transition, and we'll call our new method create transition. We start the transition using the begin delayed transition method. That method is from the transition manager. So we say transition manager dot begin delayed transition. The first parameter is the root view group, so we can use detail container like we identified earlier. And then the transition we just created, we can pass in as the second parameter. Now we also need to hide the fab and the title and track panels by setting their visibility value to invisible. So we'll add a few lines, fab.setVisibility to view.invisible. Then we'll do the same for title panel, set visibility, view.invisible. And finally the track panel, set visibility, view.invisible. All right, let's save this, take a short break, and then we'll look at those custom transition classes in the next video.